Hello, welcome to the Garth Beach Reading Back to School Book Report series, starting with Slayer of the Pig Sand Dead Sea Desert, published by Jumpmaster Press. And this is a millennial fairy tale. It is G-rated. Parents might want to read it before their teenagers read it. It has some rich adult themes, but no adult content per se. Um, and you can buy it at the link below at Jumpmaster Press, or wait and hear the read aloud by me excerpts over the coming weeks. And also my first four books, Gigi Garth tetralogy containing Nightmare Matinee, Driven to Kill, Bad Dog, A Vampire's Canine, and Party Till You Scream in my four scary books in one for young adults. Fireside reading, beach reading, great for book reports. Um, and this is a bit nostalgic. It's written pre-internet. It's re-edited for 21st century attention span, and many parents today were kids when this came out 25 years ago. So you might enjoy reading it to your kids. And I think you'll enjoy this as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And here goes. I'm going to read the introduction that sets the stage for the fairy tale. It's set far in the future at the publishing house that finds the mysterious manuscript about the Dragon Slayer. So this is the foreword. Cyril, drop everything. This relic was found. The official and historically accurate saga of the last Dragon Slayer. I want it in stores before the next wave hits. Urgently, from your boss, G, the publisher. P.S. Do not ignore this, Cyril. This one's real. So now we're in Cyril's office. Real. Ha! My boss was so gullible. Given the number of times the tomb robber had barraged us with sham manuscripts, this one had to be a deep fake. Even so, I did take into consideration that until now, never had my boss, the publisher, deployed exclamation marks with wanton abandon. Her assistant, Niles, placed the note gingerly on my desk atop a stack of flaking parchment bound in a protective spider silk wrapper. As usual, Niles was wearing too much fake tan. Such a throwback. Gone vintage, have you, Niles? I joked. Glowering inertly, Niles took the liberty of reminding me that I was at risk of a pink slip. I apologized and resisted underscoring that no one in the office believed he had actually ever been in the sun. Given its eclipse since the most recent deluge, back when the three black holes merged and took the sun with them. Newsflash, homie, tanning booths were outlawed centuries ago, I mewled smugly, not looking up from the real manuscript before me. Nowadays, the only place you can see one of those cancer chambers is at the Science History Museum. Niles grunted. And anyway, I thought snidely, since Earth remains lit by the fiery tail of the accretion of that black hole collision, there's no UV left worth basking in. It's the melanin they put in the vitamin D3 additive, Cyril, Niles shot back, defending his deep blood orange hue. You look like you could use some. Fair enough, I thought. He'd invoked they, as in the they to whom we were all subject. Our benevolent overlords. I backed off. You're so right, Niles. I allowed a taut, lippy smile to grace my coral lips. They do put it in everything, don't they? Not seeking to embroil myself in one of those old-fashioned COVID-era arguments, I withdrew, especially given that my cutaneous wrapper had been rendered a uniquely luminous orange at the very inception of my own blessed petri dish gestation. Don't patronize me, Cyril. Niles fled my office, muttering flatly, "Huh, dissed by a neon." I bragged crisply after him, "I can read in the dark, Niles." I liked my neon benefits. Down the hall, Niles released an impertinent snort as my attention returned to my boss's handwritten note in front of me. Mystery enshrouded this historically accurate account. Real. Sure, my boss said so. The tomb robber had kindly supplied a partial translation and a summary. And so I read, and read, and I never stopped, not until I reached the last page of the detailed summary. By then, several cycles of meteor showers had passed. So engrossed was I in this new manuscript that I did not even hear the bomb shelter alarms. My colleagues bunker hunkered safely, while fallout from a soulmate's supernova grazed the roof of our office pod. Yet I read on and on, oblivious to the molten gold blistering down my thermoglass windows and thudding against the air shaft. The more I read about the last dragon slayer of the pink salt Dead Sea Desert, the more I was compelled to agree with my boss that we should publish it before the next wave hit. Even if the Tomb Raider had hawked us a deep fake, this one took me away from the hell we had been living in for decades. Yes, despite the sun's eclipse, we still had lunar rotations, and yes, we kept count. Found inside a terracotta wine vessel deep inside an ancient dwarf mine. Parchment on which the Dragon Slayer's account was written, radiocarbon dated to antediluvian times, and we're going back several floods. Mind you, I set forth to contract the anonymous purveyor, a slithery reptile of a grifter who had oft pitched us rare manuscripts of spurious provenance. Until now, we had not succumbed. Verification was essential. Next, our big challenge lay in fact-checking and footnoting the translation. Tough going, as the language of the original manuscript appeared rooted in an ancient tongue related to Sumerian, laced with elements of Sino-Tibetan, Aramaic, Cantabrigian, and wicked smart Bostonian. Many sections were indecipherable. We discovered that this was due to elderberry ink having been smeared with another dark substance. Given who its seller was, I assumed it was Fenway ketchup. However, DNA tests revealed it to be a blood type unknown to any organism alive on Earth today, gone since long before Darwin's last dodo went south. What further confounded our forensics team was the narrative itself. The manuscript was written in 3 distinct hands. The majority of the ragged parchment sheets seemed to have been quilled by a local bard. We learned that she had been hired by the chief Berber medicine man of an oasis surrounded by salty pink sand. As I came to understand the important pages that I held in my hands, the oeuvre's overarching mission solidified. It chronicled the fall of the last dragons on Earth, one by one, and exposed the fate of the vilest crimson dragon. Poignant, small notations found in the blood-soaked sidebar margin were sufficiently legible to reveal two voices of lovers, a slayer of dragons named Achilles, and a genie referred to solely as Genie. To corroborate our findings, we searched historic DNA imprints archived on the archaic genealogy.com and cross-referenced it against 23andMe. Then we compared data to facts known to have appeared in the pink salt Dead Sea scrolls that carbon dated to the same time and to what appeared to be the same two unique characters who appear on carbondating.com. Carbondating.com is the archive of famous ancient lovers. Who were these star-crossed lovers? Seems they were renowned in that era for their professional excellence. Achilles the dragon slayer was revered for, yes, his tacit skill. And Genie, it seems, was beloved for granting wishes to hapless strangers lost in the pink salt Dead Sea desert. Fearsome dunes were impassable between said oasis and the Mirage Mountains, lair to dragons and their protein source, the simple mountain folk. Additional research gave us to understand that, in fact, a pink salt Dead Sea desert oasis did once exist. It lay in a remote corner of what is now Armenia's capital. Yerevan crouches at the base of Mount Ararat, whose unreachable pinnacle is rumored to hold Noah's Ark glazed in ice, embedded in permafrost. There it has sat since the shores subsided after the first flood deposited it there millennia prior to the last flood, not to be confused with the most recent deluge that took with it the pink salt Dead Sea desert. With all our research, our editorial staff puzzled affirmation with the forensics team. We concluded that a true account of these long-lost paramours is what we herewith avail. A testament to following one's heart. In times of greatest adversity, the lover's story remains relevant today. Midst grit of salty pink sand and scalding dragon breath, this love blazed and flourished briefly. Though betrayed by external forces, the tale begins with the local bard's catchy description of Achilles. When first read by our editors, the bold image of said dragon slayer impelled our team to ignore cartons of Thai takeout and remain lashed to our desks, unshaven until we cracked the code of our lucky literary find. For example, one description of the dragon slayer reads like this. Pertinacious swagger, slayer Achilles approached the dragon's nexus. Irrefutable certainty smoldered in his gut. He knew his quarry was nigh. Once bitten by the beast and thereby infected by its viral menace, Slayer was slowly dehydrating. Thus, too, however, Achilles alone had a sixth sense to detect from afar the green acid blood raging in the monster's veins as it quickened in fear at our hero's stealthy approach. Who wouldn't fall in love with this capable man? Our entire editorial team understood immediately why the wish-granting Genie fell for him with this fairy-tale gent who once upon a time was as real and baronial as my own bioluminescent neon orange exterior. So of course my bookworms and I had to get to the nucleus of Genie and Dragon Slayer's Achilles truth. Imagine, I pondered, had they only known what a splash they would make one day on the social media scene in the post-ecliptic here and now, perhaps they'd have, what, tried harder to survive? Eloped? Vanity Fair reports our bestseller is a most sanguine saga spun for a lover. Bloomberg declared Slayer the biggest blockbuster since naked Cleopatra wrapped herself in a Persian carpet and ordered the confection delivered like DoorDash to Julius Caesar. And the New York Times science section, after conducting its own radiography, infrared reflectography, and UV tests, concurred that Dragon Slayer is based on a true story. So, while this love story's veracity and origin are certain, the denouement of Slayer and Genie remains a mystery. One can only speculate whether evanescence prevailed, or, we hope, they got it together in the end. You be the judge. Signed, Cyril Neon, editor. Dragon Slayer of the Pink Sand Dead Sea Blizzard. Available at the link below on Jumpmaster Press, or wait for the next installment on a separate video. Thanks for your time. Bye.